why we're still together, not choking the life out of each other, blissfully and productively than Jada.
Have you ever stopped to think what it means when someone says, "She was the love of my life"? For Will Smith, those words tell a story much deeper than just romance. It's about friendships, challenges, mistakes, and growing into a better person. His journey shows that love isn't always easy or perfect. It changes, it teaches, and sometimes it surprises us. Let's discover the remarkable story behind Will's powerful statement. Will Smith's early journey. Before Will Smith became the worldwide star he is today, in the late 1980s, his life was already full of events that shaped who he would become. Sandra Denton, better known by her stage name Peppa, is in one of the first and most memorable parts of his love life. Peppa wasn't just any girl in Will's life, she was a rising star in her own right. She was a member of the famous hip-hop group Salt-N-Pepa, whose new sound and bold style were making waves. Peppa was born in Jamaica and raised in the United States. She was confident and charismatic, which made her stand out in the music scene, and Will was drawn to her energy. In the early stages of both of their careers, they met in Los Angeles. Will was still getting used to working in music and theater, but he thought Peppa was a great artist and liked her personally. After that, they had a short but memorable link that showed how Will was feeling about his first experiences with love and being vulnerable. Both of them were following their dreams at the time. They didn't know what the future held, but they were ready to take risks. One of the most important events in their relationship was a date that Will rarely let other people see. It wasn't because it was fancy or beautiful, but because it showed a different side of Will. To really wow Peppa, he rented a white Mercedes Roadster and planned a beautiful drive through the Hollywood Hills. The goal was easy. They wanted to watch the sunset together and get away from the stress of becoming famous. But Will was nervous inside, even though he seemed calm. Even though he was young, he wanted to make a good impact. He also felt the weight of the moment. Something that happened on that drive showed how kind and giving Will was. He gave $100 to a poor person out of the blue. It was a small act, but it showed the compassion that would later become a hallmark of his character. Peppa remembered this act as thoughtful and genuine, something that went beyond flashy moves. It showed the warm, caring side of Will that was hidden beneath the surface, even when things were unsure. The rest of the night was spent near the famous Hollywood sign, which stands for hope and dreams. It was a poetic setting for more than just a date for two young artists on the verge of greatness. It was a shared experience of hope and promise. Even though they were nervous and didn't know what would happen, that night will stay with both of them. The importance of this time should not be undervalued, even though their relationship was short and didn't turn into something permanent. For Will, it was a turning point because it was his first real taste of love, and he was growing up in the public eye. What's more, Will and Peppa's relationship didn't end after the night or the relationship. They stayed friends and helped each other through the good and bad times in their lives and jobs. This early part of Will Smith's love story shows something very important. Love isn't always about big promises or forever. There are times when events teach us something about ourselves and get us ready for the next thing. To the man who would one day talk honestly and deeply about the love of my life, Peppa was more than just a first love. She was a stepping stone that helped shape him. How does a young man deal with losing a loved one while also trying to be successful? Will's first marriage tells us more about his journey. It's a story of struggle, strength, and love that will always be remembered. Sheree Zampino, the love of my life? Will Smith's life changed when he met Sheree Zampino. He had a short but important relationship with Peppa before that. It was like a movie scene, how quickly their story went. Will was having a great time in the early 1990s thanks to his hit TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. During this time of growing fame, he felt drawn to Sheree, a young woman with her own goals and skills. Sheree was more than just pretty. She was smart, driven, and grounded. They were instantly attracted to each other, and soon they couldn't be apart. When they got married in 1992, they also had their son Trey that same year. There was love, joy, and new responsibilities all at once. All of a sudden, Will had to balance the demands of a growing job with the realities of being married and a dad. At first glance, everything looked great. A young couple with a bright future ahead of them. Behind the scenes, though, things were a lot messier. Fame can do a lot of damage. It can help you get things done, but it also puts pressure on you in ways that most people don't understand. Will's job moved quickly, which meant that he worked long hours, traveled a lot, and was constantly watched by the public. The more well-known Will became, the more people expected them to get married. It got very hard to balance being a celebrity and taking care of a child at the same time. Work, stress, and being far apart put the magic of their early days to the test. Even though they loved their son and each other, these problems were wearing them down. There wasn't just one person to blame. It was hard to keep the family together when everyone was looking on and Will's business was taking off. The stress slowly grew until it was too much to handle. Will later said that their breakup was one of the hardest times in his life and even said it was a failure. Those words have weight because they come from a place of honesty and deep thought. For someone who seems sure of themselves and successful, it takes guts to say in public that they failed. Not only did they lose a spouse, but they also learned a painful lesson about love, duty, and the limits of even the strongest bonds. What happened after the split is what makes Will and Cherie's story different. Instead of being angry or staying away, they built a relationship based on trust and respect. They both made co-parenting with Trey a priority, and they did a great job at it. Will often calls Cherie the best baby mama ever, which shows how much he values her as more than just Trey's mother. Cherie has also been a valuable partner in their journey together. From love to something just as important, a partnership and a friendship, their relationship changed over time. This relationship has been strong for a long time, and both people are still important in each other's lives. In public, they look like a team because they love their son and respect each other. At the same time, Cherie's life was going well. As a businesswoman and TV personality, she went into the spotlight and made a name for herself, away from the shadow of her famous ex-husband. Cherie showed strength and freedom by opening a store and a body butter line and appearing on reality TV shows. Love and parting don't have to be the end of a person's story. They can also be the start of a new one. All of this, the marriage, the problems, the painful breakup, and the friendship that continues, adds to what Will Smith said about the love of my life. The ending isn't a simple happily ever after. Instead, it's a deep journey full of learning and growth. Will's family and heart will always have Cherie with them, and she is a key figure in his life. Will's story doesn't end here, though. There was another love after this one that would change him even more deeply. When they were together, it made him take on new tasks and rethink everything he thought he knew about love, commitment, and partnerships. The time he spent with Jada Pinkett Smith was one of the most talked about and complicated times in his life. It was full of love, pain, and growth. What takes place when love doesn't follow the rules? When two people don't want to follow the rules but still manage to make it work? In the next part, we learn about a unique bond that changed Will Smith's view of what it means to love and be loved. The in-between moments. Will Smith's life had times of serious love and marriage, but it also had times of lighter, more casual connections that changed how he thought about relationships and himself. Between his first and second relationships, he had these short-lived relationships and work friendships. Each one taught him something new about life. In the early 1990s, when Will was still riding the first waves of fame, he had a short relationship with Garcelle Bouet. Will was interested in model and actor Garcelle, who is Haitian American. She showed up on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Their relationship was casual but real. They were both young and looking for friendship at a time when Will was starting his job and growing as a person. Even though their relationship didn't last long, they stayed friends and worked together for years, showing respect even as their paths diverged. Will got a glimpse of how relationships could change from romantic to long friendship through this link. Not long after that, Tyra Banks, a rising supermodel and actor who had also been on The Fresh Prince, lit another spark. Their time together was short but memorable, and things really took off in the 4th season of the show. At that point, Tyra was just starting to become well-known, while Will was already well-known. Even though their relationship was short, it gave both of them a chance to connect while their jobs were busy and growing. Even after they broke up, they kept in touch and sometimes talked about the beginnings of their friendship and relationship. Will learned from this relationship that young love in the spotlight doesn't last long and that it's important to stay centered even when things change quickly in life. Around the same time, Will was seeing Karen Stefan, who used to be in music videos and is now an author known for being honest about her relationships in the entertainment business. These short-lived relationships showed that Will was still trying to figure out what he really wanted in love at that time in his life. Karen later wrote about her time with him, giving readers a look at how fame and love can be hard to handle together. Will saw this as another piece of the puzzle, a chance to learn how to deal with love while also juggling his public life and personal goals. Even though these relationships were short or casual, they all helped Will learn more about love and himself. They taught me about limits, respect, and how connections can change over time. It taught him that not all relationships had to last a lifetime or fit into certain categories. Some were important but short-lived moments in time. More importantly, these events helped Will get ready for the next relationship, which would be deeper and more difficult. They helped him grow emotionally by showing him how to be both weak and strong, and how to value friendship along with love. After that, Will started dating someone who would test everything he thought he knew about love. A bond that wasn't just about love, it was also about trust, freedom, and growth in ways that not many people had seen before. Will and Jada Pinkett Smith's love story is full of emotion, complexity, and growth.
Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, girl.
It's the kind of love story that changes a person for good. There are rules that say how two people can stay in love. But what do they do when everyone is watching? How do you make a life together when love is more than just getting married? The deep partnership. In the mid-1990s, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's story began in a quiet way. Both were following their dreams at the time, but they weren't as famous as they would become. The whole thing began while Will was making The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the show that made him famous very quickly. Jada, a young actress with a lot of drive and undeniable ability, came to try out for a part on the show. She didn't get that part, but something bigger than a job offer was about to happen. The first time they met wasn't very exciting. They were very quiet and slow, and they were built on moments of bonding that got stronger over time. There was more than just attraction or the normal romantic sparks. There was a sense of friendship and understanding that went deeper. People who are together for a long time often wait years to find this kind of bond. To Will and Jada, it was the basis of their whole relationship. By 1997, Will and Jada had made their relationship official and got married in a quiet ceremony, away from the close attention of the media that was focused on Will's rising fame. This wasn't a normal marriage. They worked together. They decided to base their relationship on trust, respect, and the idea that they were more than just spouses. They saw themselves as life partners, facing the world together as a team. As the years went by, many things changed, and their children, Jaden and Willow, were born. Being parents added new layers to their relationship as they dealt with the ups and downs of having kids while still staying close. As everyone knows, having kids can either bring two people closer together or push them farther apart. For Will and Jada, it was another test of their relationship. But every love story has hard parts. The pressures on Will and Jada were the same for any pair, but they were worse because they were famous. The whole world was ready to praise or criticize them at any time. It was hard for them to keep their relationship and privacy safe because of all the rumors and talk that were going around. They had times when they weren't together and wondered what their future together might be like. One problem that got a lot of attention was what Jada called an entanglement, a relationship she had while she was not married to Will. Will and Jada decided to be open about these things, while many couples would hide them. Through sites like Red Table Talk, Jada's Facebook Watch show, they were honest about their problems and let everyone know how they felt. Many people were shocked by how honest they were, which made their relationship more than just star gossip. It also gave me a new way to think about love, one that lets things be complicated, mistakes be made, people be forgiven, and people grow. Nothing changed about their trust in each other during all of these ups and downs. Freedom, not ownership or control, was what made their partnership work. They knew that real love meant helping each other grow, even if that meant giving each other time to figure out who they really were. Their tie didn't get weaker because they were free. It got stronger. They became best friends, biggest supporters, and fairest judges of each other. When the world was shocked, it was especially clear how much Will loved Jada. Will walked onto the stage at the 2022 Oscars and slapped the comedian when he made a joke about Jada's alopecia, a disease that causes hair loss. This event caused a lot of criticism around the world, but there was one truth that couldn't be ignored. Will was very protective of Jada. Because he loved her so much, he did something that showed how strong his feelings were and how determined he was to protect her. In turn, Jada has been there for Will through all of his ups and downs. She has been his ride or die, which means she has always been there for him no matter what. Their friendship has grown into something much more than what most people think of as marriage. It's about a real partnership, going through life together, being honest about the hard times, and sharing the joy of the good times. It's okay that love isn't easy, as shown by Will and Jada's relationship. It can be full of questions, changes, and turns you didn't see coming, but it can still have a strong link that can't be broken. Their story shows that love can be about friendship, freedom, trust, and most of all, growing as a person and as a pair together. Even though they are still growing and changing, they show that love can last and even grow when people are honest and work together. There is more to their story than just two people in love. Two people want to be honest with each other and themselves. What's out there besides love, friendship, and struggle stories? What does all of this make Will think about himself and his place in the world? The next chapter goes into more detail about Will Smith's thoughts and plans for the future. What does "she was the love of my life" really mean? When Will Smith said, "she was the love of my life," those words meant a lot and were very deep. It was not just about one love or one person. Love that isn't always easy to explain or put into nice boxes was at the heart of it. Will's journey through love has been full of happiness, setbacks, lessons learned, and growth. We should change how we think about what love really means because of what he said. Many people might wonder at first, who is she? Most people think it's his first wife, Sheree Zampino. They had a passionate, hard, and eventually respectful relationship, even after they broke up. He had his first child with Sheree, and she was a big part of his life. But the love of my life doesn't always mean a great relationship or a marriage that lasts a lifetime. It's about how someone changes your heart and how they help you grow as a person. But it might not be just Sheree. Could Will's words be an ode to more than one woman? They could be a way for him to honor all the important women who have had a big impact on his life, from Peppa, who was his first friend and always treated him with love, to Jada, who was his partner through tough times and huge growth. Sometimes, love isn't about the person you end up with. It's about the relationships that shape you, teach you how to be better, and change you. Will's story shows that love changes over time. It changes over time. It's more than just a love spark. It includes friendship, forgiveness, and respect. Love sometimes means going your own way while still caring deeply. Helping each other keep their freedom and identity, even when things get messy, is sometimes what it means. Will and Jada's relationship is a great example of this new kind of love. It goes against the idea of a standard marriage and shows that honesty and trust can be the strongest bonds of all. People may find it hard to understand this kind of love because it goes against what they think love should look like. But the fact that Will is honest about failing, being apart, and growing changes the way people think about love and being a man. He doesn't try to hide his pain or act like everything is fine. Instead, he shows that being open and honest is what makes you strong. People can see that love is real and complicated, not just a fairy tale, when he talks about his problems. Being honest is a big deal for someone like Will Smith, who is often seen as a man of confidence and success. It goes against the idea that guys should always be tough and emotionless. The real way to be strong, he says, is to own your feelings and learn from your mistakes. It's important to remember that love is about growing as people as well as growing together. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like and subscribe for more stories like this. Don't forget to click the next video popping up on your screen. You won't want to miss what's coming next.